we might as well start. Yeah, nice. James Ronald, Epic Games Music, dude. Thank you very much for doing this. We haven't talked in ages, actually. We met before. We met at the RetroWare convention, and I remember chatting to you a couple of times and going like, oh, I'd love to actually have a conversation about YouTubing and music and all that kind of stuff with you. And there's always distractions and other people to talk to. So thank you very much for doing this. Welcome.
Yeah, no problem. No, it's good to hear your voice again. It's good to
likewise,
see you.
yeah. And congratulations.
Congratulations on which? On me getting engaged?
Yeah. Congratulations. Is there anything else I should congratulate you on, or?
There's too many things to get into right now. I'm a busy guy.
You're a busy guy. You're traveling. I believe you said you're traveling the States at the moment.
Yeah, so I'm traveling all over the States. I'm in Massachusetts right now. I was in Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago. So this is my going across the country time of year. So.
Wow. Is it convention time? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, well, it's conventions and just like travels, because like I used to be in a touring band for a long time.
Yeah.
So I got the traveling bug. I like to go out and travel when I can. So it takes some saving up, but luckily YouTube and stuff like that is something you can do on the go.
Yeah. You're going to so many conventions. I don't know how you do it in energy.
Okay. People wonder like, hey, how logistically that works. Like, first off, I'm based out of Toronto, so I'm close to like most of the places where they have conventions, and there's a bunch of conventions in Toronto.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but just as far as the energy level, you just gotta, I don't know, just being around all those nerds and just the energy of people being excited, like, it just gets you pumped and keeps you going. It's very inspiring.
Yeah. I suppose once you get into the momentum, I was saying that to Square Painter, Adam and Nina as well, because they go to a ton of conventions, and you meet them a lot there, I'd say.
Yeah, I in fact, in Philadelphia, for too many games, I was actually staying in their room.
Yeah, it's always the same crowd, isn't it? It's always the same sort of core of YouTubers that get invited to these. It's awesome.
Yeah, what's crazy about Square Painter is that, like, no matter what convention he's at, he always has the best table placement in the vendor's hall. Like, he's always just right in the perfect space, just right near the door where, he's making all the money right there. And it's just great. I don't know how he does it, but it's just
why is that? Is that his New York kind of shady ways?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that guy definitely has a New York way about things.
Yeah, I mean, does he threaten people, or I don't know? Yeah, he always has a good spot. That's right, actually. Yeah, I had them on this podcast. Actually, it was awesome to get them.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's very fresh. Then congratulations on the engagement. Delighted for you, dude. Delighted, and you lost a shit ton of weight as well.
Yeah, I did. Actually, on like traveling around, I gained like a tiny bit back, but I lost like 80 pounds.
Wow, because I remember the last time, like I was going, oh my god, like that's a ton of weight you shedded. Over the space of a year, like, and it's no mean achievement. So, what happened? What did you do? Like, what's your secret? I've been going through a diet process recently as well. I lost quite a good bit, but I'd love to know what you did.
Okay, yeah. So like, you can try working out and all that. That's great. That's just good for you, right? But really, it's what you put in your body at the end of the day, right?
Okay.
Like, you can still be working out and still be out of shape and, just packing on the pounds and stuff. But yeah, so basically, I eat what a sane person should eat. Once once you look it up, how much you should be eating, you're like, wow, I eat way too much.
Yeah.
And it basically it's just portion control. And I eat way too many salads, like way too many salads. Still, yeah. Well, right now I'm in the States and I'm taking a little bit of a break from that.
Of course.
So the portions in the States are just like too much. Like you order a small and it's like this huge big meal, and you just don't know what to do with it. So yeah, it's hard to diet in in the States.
Yeah, I had that every time I went to the States. I found it hard as well just to keep the weight under control because you get a portion of something and you're asking for a small portion or medium portion, and it's still bigger than the stuff I get here. It's crazy, like the amount of food. Yeah, that's consumed there. But it's interesting. It's because I've been working out all my life. Like I don't think there was a stage where I wasn't doing some exercise between martial arts and surfing, and just I have a gym here in the house, so I exercise.
Martial arts and surfing, like damn, you are the most badass guy I
know. and over the years, I found that. I mean, it would keep the weight under somewhat control, but I wasn't really watching what I was eating. And lately, coming over my 30s and 40s, God, 43 now, and just found that, it's getting harder and harder to keep the weight under control. And I was just slowly gaining weight. And I was going, I don't understand. I exercise a lot and I'm still gaining weight. So I started watching into what I was eating, and it was like that. It was exactly what you said, like portion control, and then a lot of sugary stuff and carbs. So I cut that for a while, the carbs and sugars, and I think it was 15 kilos I lost.
Oh wow!
In a few months, just by stopping those two alone. Like it was quite drastic, quite amazing.
Yeah, sugar builds up. With drinks especially, because like you can you have a Coke and like that's almost the amount of calories that's in a burger or something.
Yeah,
like just from one drink.
Yeah, and then you don't just have one Coke in a day. Like,
exactly.
But yeah, even that I wasn't really big into the fizzy drinks, but a lot of little cakes and biscuits and stuff like that. It's just it all added up, and as soon as I stopped these and the bread. Being a good Frenchman, I like my bread, and I didn't stop the wine, but I cut on the.
You can't stop the wine.
No,
come on,
couldn't be. No. It was just sugar and carbs. It was quite amazing to see. Literally overnight, I had inflammations as well, like that couldn't get rid of. They all went overnight, pretty much. It was quite amazing, and. I started reintroducing some carbs and a bit of sugar for the summer, but I haven't gained back that much, probably a couple of kilos. So it'll be easy to keep under control. Yeah, it was quite amazing, and I didn't think I was necessarily overweight or eating too much, but you'd be surprised, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just what you can do just from doing something so little is like controlling what you eat.
And how's your energy levels then?
Oh yeah, no, it's just insane. I wake up early in the morning and I'm like, and I'm raring to go, and I want to do stuff. Whereas like when I was heavier, I was just like laying around like Cheeto dust all over my shirt, just like
Caligula. Yeah. It was no, but it's amazing because that's the thing you don't realize is your energy level actually just increase when you stop all that sugar intakes and that kind of stuff, because you don't spike necessarily, but you don't crash either.
Yeah, and, that's true. Because you burn it so fast when you have sugary drinks. You're just like, I'm hyper, and that's it. You're hyper for like 20 minutes, and that's it on that.
Yeah, it's I recommend it to anybody if they want to try. You'll be surprised how quickly actually it goes. Like, did you actually stop some stuff overnight, or did you just slowly?
Well, I switched over like completely just to as far as drinks, to club soda and green tea.
Yeah,
that's just what I intake, because you still get your vitamin C from the green tea. You don't have to drink juice or anything like that. Like juice, although sounds healthy, has like a lot of sugar.
No, it's not. It's definitely not. No.
Yeah.
It's nothing. You get very little from the fruits, and actually most of the sugar that's in that juice, like all the fibers are gone and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, no, they're a bad idea.
Yeah. Oh, and one other thing, potato chips, like that. That's the worst one. You just have a handful, and like that's so many calories. But and it's just hard to give up.
Yeah, I was bad on these as well. I give them up altogether. It was for me it was the stuff like that, the odd pizza and the chips, the fries.
Yeah.
Anyway, well done, congratulations on that as well. I have to say, Jano, you look great in the videos as well.
Thank
Not
you.
that you didn't before, but it's funny. Like you can tell if you watch previous videos and videos nowadays. Well, it's quite amazing. But dude, you've speaking of which, you've been on YouTube for ages, ever.
Yeah.
Were you on YouTube before it was YouTube even?
I was on YouTube when it was like because my account is from 2007, and I didn't start seriously posting until 8 years ago, I think. So yeah, I started to upload my own like little videos of songs that I do, just little ditties, little like MIDI stuff. And then I started to post like video game covers, and there was like a huge response to that I totally wasn't expecting at all. And I'm like, oh, people like what I like. They like video game music. This is crazy. And so, that's where it blossomed from there. And then I super started to take it seriously, and that's when it became Epic Game Music.
Was it called something else before? Or?
It was my username is Xtrons with 5 Z's.
Yeah. Yeah, you can see that in a lot of channels actually. If you look at the username or the initial name, which would have been what the channel was called before, like you're going, really?
Yeah,
that was that.
I know, because it's all these like high school usernames people had, where it's like, was it Pixel Dan? His is like Mandalorian 69 or something, something Star Wars nerdy like that,
Yeah, that's awesome. So yeah, no, because I remember browsing to your channel and going, I think the oldest video is like 11 years old or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and then was it Mega Man the first cover?
Yeah, the first one was Elec Man from Mega Man 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I just got a camera. That's the first time I put myself on film, and I was trying to figure out how to do the editing, and it was just it took me like a month to do one simple video. Now I can like crap this out in like a week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But see, now you know exactly what to do, what not to do, and how do you like. I remember in my first video as well. It was more about trying to figure it out. Trying to figure out how to edit, how to put the stuff together. But your video holds up quite well over time still. Obviously the production value has drastically increased, but I think it holds up well, your Mega Man cover still.
Oh yeah, of course. Well, also like there's some videos on YouTube where you can tell they're like old school YouTube, right? Where you're just like, yeah, that's what videos used to look like. Like now there's like this production war of like videos just keep on having a higher and higher standard, and everyone, is just trying to catch up with that. So,
yeah, you couldn't. We were talking about that actually in the previous podcast I did with Ro Paniganti. He's another YouTuber, and that's what we were saying. Exactly the same stuff. It's just you couldn't put a video out now that looks like what it was like a few years back, which makes it very, very hard for new people to come in. Because obviously their skills isn't up to the standard, or they have to get that before they release the video. It makes it even harder just to be on the equal level with everybody else. It's a tougher time to
well, there's so many things that make it hard to start out now. Like just think about how much video comes up each hour. It's like 3 years worth of video is up each hour. Like that's crazy. Just everyone's just uploading. So if you're new, how do you cut through that? Because like people who have been doing it for a long time, they have that subscriber boost, but like if you have nothing, it must be like so hard now just to cut through,
Yeah, I mean, it was already, I'm only on YouTube for about 4 years now. It was actually, I can notice how easier it was then already, but 2 years now, it's just becoming incredibly hard to, even when you have an established subscriber base, it's just really hard to get the views altogether. So I don't know how new people do it. Like it must be so demoralizing altogether.
Oh yeah, demoralizing is definitely the word. But like we have this YouTube space in Toronto where they have get-togethers and stuff, and you can go and talk to creators. And common story I hear is like someone who had 300 subscribers 6 months ago now has like 100,000 sometimes. So I don't know what their secret is on that, like where they're breaking through, but like definitely it's still happening to people. It still can happen, So, but like they always have a very unique idea, and I think that's where it comes from, or that's the magic of YouTube, is that you just need that idea that like stands out. Which is, easier said than done. Yeah,
and an idea that people want to or are interested in as well, because I can come up with a lot of stuff that nobody will be interested in.
No, I hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really about having that sort of uniqueness to your channel or your content or your personality, like nowadays.
Mhm.
To yeah, which I suppose what YouTube was always about anyway is broadcast yourself and bring
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
Remember that tagline? That was actually I used to love it. Broadcast yourself. That's what YouTube
Yeah,
was.
what's their tagline now?
Do they have one?
Do they have one? I don't know. It's
Yeah.
probably like watch Jimmy Kimmel videos or something, you know.
But actually, that's a good point. That was a really cool tagline to have as a company. Broadcast yourself, because it sort of told you what you could expect and what you should be doing to start with on YouTube. Because now,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like everything and nothing on that platform. It's really, really interesting. Well, I started actually putting all my videos as of a few days ago or a couple of weeks ago on Facebook as well.
Okay, yeah.
The entire video. I used to put small clips, and I've been toying with the idea to do that for a while, and I started doing that. And actually, the response has been great. And what's interesting is it doesn't quite translate into obviously views the same way, but it carries across to Patreon and Bandcamp or other platforms that way. So I've seen actually results in sale and a couple of Patreons joining the Patreon campaign. So it was very interesting actually. It's something a lot of people should look into. I think it's putting your content or older content on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
Maybe with a delay of a few months or something like that, but because I see very much the videos once you put them out really as your business card of sorts.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Do you find like putting money into it, because you can pay for a promotion? Like I've heard people have super success with that. Have you tried that at all?
I have,
Through
yeah, I have,
Facebook?
yeah. I've done. I've ads running on my Castlevania Vampire Killer, so I just put
Oh
that
yeah, yeah.
as an ad, and apparently it's come up in a few people looking for the AVGN Castlevania
Yeah.
episode, so it's come up in that.
Dude, I have actually seen that ad both on YouTube, and I haven't seen it on Facebook, but yeah, I keep on seeing it. So
Oh, there you go, yeah. And it's not
money
like,
well spent, you know.
well, that's the way I see it. Like the YouTube revenue, it is sent back into stuff like that. So it's not a lot of money. So that ad
Yeah.
is, after an hour, like it's gone.
Yeah.
But obviously it's the small audience you cater to. But yeah, I've seen it's attracted people to the channel.
Yeah. Well,
undeniably.
that's a really good video to tease with, because it's really engaging, and you
Yeah.
just see the beginning, and you're interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah, well,
So,
that's exactly why I picked it up, because a lot of my videos now have that intro as well, so I couldn't put that up. It'd be too long for
okay.
people, and then it was that or Mega Man, and I figured this one would work better. But yeah, again, that's something I recommend. I've had people giving me shit about that actually, that I shouldn't
Really?
I shouldn't be advertising or paying for an ad, because you're whatever you should be built up on your own merit and all that. I'm going, that's just a silly thing to say. That's just
Yeah.
another form to advertise or tell your other people. So I shouldn't go in the street and say, "Oh, I'm checking my channel," either.
Yeah, well, it's sort of like putting up posters for a show you're playing live. It's
Yeah.
it's the same thing. You
Yeah,
want
exactly.
people
That's
to come and see you.
That's exactly the same thing. So anyway, look, it was only one or two people. Like most of the time, I get a comment saying, "Oh, I was looking for such a video on Castlevania. This came up and subscribed. This is awesome. Best ad ever," and that kind of stuff. So yeah. I recommend doing that, and it doesn't cost that much, but it's
Yeah.
keep
Alright.
it like $1 a day or $2 a day or something like that. If you have a channel that has some revenue coming in over a month, it's
Yeah.
$30 or $60 or however much you want to spend, but that's about the money I make from YouTube to start.
Yeah.
with.
So that just levels out,
So there you go. That was my advice. But when did you? I know it was the Mega Man cover, but when did you sort of decide I want to try making video game music covers?
Well, okay, so I did that one, then I tried other stuff, and then I did another video game cover. I totally forget what it was. But yeah, I spent a lot of time on that, and that got a huge response too. And then I just kept on doing that over and over. I put out a video every month or two, just casually. But then, I realized the faster I was doing this, the more stuff was growing, right? But yeah, what really set it off was I got into online communities like Retroware or like Screw Attack.
Yeah.
It was huge, and I just met so many people, and they liked what I did, and I got to talk to them about just video game music, and I don't know. That's really where it grew. That had to be about like 6 years ago when I started to do it like each week, and yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what was the? Had you seen anybody else do that before? Like for me, it was seeing Smooth McGroove and do his stuff, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, well, my channel I think was before Smooth McGroove.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, the first person who really got me into YouTube videos was Mystery Guitar Man, and given that's not video game covers, but like he's old school. He would do the stop motion guitar stuff.
Oh yeah. You do a bit of that,
I do it. I'm super influenced by him. And then I don't know, I saw a bunch of other people, but yeah, back when I first started, there wasn't that many people. There's one guy, I think his name is Caleb something. I don't know, so long ago. He doesn't do it anymore because he joined the military. But yeah, then later, there's like Family Jewel 7X and Smooth McGroove and all these people. I'm like, good, more people. This is just great, just hearing people's different takes on it. And that's just great. Because, with old school 8-bit, 16-bit stuff, there's such room there to just fill in your own, just flair to it. You can, because like with 8-bit, there's only four channels, right? So now you can have as many channels as you want. You can put whatever you want in,
That's the part that I love as well about that era of music, because like you said, it's just there's only 4 channels, and there hadn't been interpretation before. So like your Mega Man is different from my Mega Man, from Smooth McGroove's Mega Man, and Family Jewel's Mega Man. It's just, but it's all the same tune. But it's so cool to hear all the different interpretations from different YouTubers doing the same tune, exact same tune, and keeping that tune still intact and not denature the composition, but yet bringing an entire different orchestration or it's I find it fascinating. Like I'm still in awe. I've been playing for so long. I'm still in awe of other musicians and how different musicians hear things differently, and the same tune can be worked in so many different ways, which is something you don't quite have with more modern games because the orchestration is already there.
So what do you do with it? Because you can make it metal or like that's about it.
But you always get compared, maybe not on purpose, but you always get compared to the original track. Whereas with 8-bit or 16-bit chip music, it doesn't happen because there was no original instruments, if you want to,
Yeah, exactly.
That's the part that I was just bringing something out of that context and seeing how many different style you can get out of the one tune.
It's sort of a window into people's minds, sort of, when you listen to covers. You can see how that person thinks. You can look at all their covers, and it's super interesting. If you just look at someone's channel, just go for an hour and just see what they do, you see what they're about.
Yeah, what I find fascinating as well with that exercise is seeing people develop their own style. Like your channel has clearly its own sound and style. And you can like my style or not, but you can't deny me that I have found a style that works for me, and same for you. It's just so nice to see that evolve, and it just adds obviously to the musical landscape on YouTube. But I just love the fact that you can find your own style by just doing that, because you're not influenced by other sounds, other instruments, or anything like that. It's just it kind of grew naturally.
Yeah. What do you call your style of doing things?
I don't know. It's definitely not folk or country or anything like that. It's somewhere in between. Like what I maybe it's pretentious of me, but I try to say that I try to bring those instruments out of their comfort zone. So, playing a Mega Man, it doesn't sound like country music. I don't think it does, but it still sounds like the instruments, but different, you know. I just try to bring them in a different zone. So as for the style, it's probably, I don't know, modern folk maybe, if I have to choose something, but it's not quite either, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. We at some point we have to come up with a tagline for that, or you're just a genre, like, you know.
contemporary, yeah, like, because
Yeah.
whenever you license something on SoundCloud or Bandcamp or anything like that, they ask you for the style of your music, and I'm
Yeah,
always
you're just
stuck,
like,
and I'm going, this, well, it's not rock, it's not folk, really, it's not electronica, it's somewhere in between. But there's no name for it. That's what I mean when I say a style. You found a style because you can't
yeah.
find it in any other definition of genres. Like yourself, you know, it's not. It is electric guitars, but is it rock rock? I don't.
Yeah, it's not quite rock. Also, I'm adding more synths now,
Yeah,
so what does that make it now?
yeah.
Now I'm like
You do.
now I'm like an indie rock band or something. I
Yeah,
don't
you do
know.
tapping. You do a lot of tapping on your
Yeah,
guitar. Is it metal?
yeah.
I don't quite think so. It's just somewhere in between. Like it's your own style. That's what I mean. You know. I yeah. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you were doing metal all along. I just insulted your entire channel.
No, it's
But
not.
that's what I mean. I think it's your own style. It defines it. Like I could hear a cover blindfolded, and I'll go, "That's James."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah.
No, you can feel the footprint. Like, it was really weird. Before I did YouTube, I was in this band, and it was actually a punk rock band of all genres I could have done. But like, the idea behind the band was take a bunch of people who don't really listen to punk rock and make a punk rock band and see what they do with it. You know. Yeah.
How did I go?
Oh, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like we were a band for 10 years, and for like 5 of those we were like a touring band, and then we realized how much that sort of like is very difficult to hold people touring, because like touring is like it sounds glamorous, but it's mostly like sitting in the back of a van eating cold Chef Boyardee waiting for the next show. You know what I mean? Like it's not very glamorous.
People don't realize being a touring band it's like being an actor. It's mostly waiting.
Yeah.
You're on show for a couple of hours, maybe at most a day, but the rest is just setting up, moving, waiting.
Well, also in Canada, like places are so far from each other that like sometimes you have 10-hour drives each day.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so you're just driving, and then you're getting out, and then you're playing the show, and then you sleep for a couple hours, and then you have to drive again.
Yeah, and then you get booked, and then they pay you for, you know, if that, well, you played for a couple of hours, so it's so much. You're going, well, that's actually a day. That's an entire day of us coming here, setting up.
It's
rehearsing.
like, actually, we need to eat, man.
Yeah, there's that as well. Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes the promoters would actually run out if the show didn't do well. They just take the money and just screw off, and we're like, okay, we got to find out how to eat now.
It's such a fucked up business model. Still, music. It's so messed up, and it doesn't favor. It favors everybody but the musicians. That's.
Oh yeah, well that's it. There's a whole bunch of people who are making the money, and it's definitely not focused on the musicians.
Yeah, that's why I stopped all. I'm gonna sound like a broken record in this podcast, but that's why I stopped doing live music as well, because it's first so draining, and then the money isn't there, but also it seems everybody else is doing well out of you except you. I stopped doing that. You do still do live gigs, don't you?
Yeah. And it's a lot easier for my solo stuff, because like it's just my backing track on a phone, and then me with the guitar just up there all like but you don't have the same, you know, gravitas as having 4 or 5 people, you know, because like if the audience is lagging, I can't speed up the drums or pick up something, you know, I'm just stuck up there my own pace, right? So
that's a good point, actually, because sometimes you feel the audience is dying for a bit more energy or less, and you can't change your set done
Yeah.
and set, and that's it. That's all you have for the night. Yeah, but yeah, you do have a good energy on stage. Like I've seen you at Retroware actually. That was just really cool. Like you have a nice polished set and all ready to go. Like, was it a lot of work trying to do that, or did you always have that in mind when you started the channel, or when?
Well, at first, I didn't have that in mind. Then a convention in Toronto called Unplugged asked me to play. I'm like, oh, a convention? Like, I don't know. I had like 1,000 subscribers. That's how long ago that was. And I was like, yeah, sure, let's give this a shot. I didn't know how it was gonna go. That one I was more nervous. I was like standing up there, like just looking at my fingers, like, oh my god, everyone's looking at me.
Yeah.
Because like I was used, my band. I was the guitarist, so I wasn't used to being the focal point.
Yeah.
And so this was different. And between songs, you have to keep on talking, and it's super hard when you have to tune and keep on talking.
And something decides to stop working, and you have to keep entertaining the crowd.
Yeah, exactly. Like things can go wrong. You can break a string. Your pedal can run out of batteries. Like, man. So stalling is super hard, but I don't know. I just got used to that because like I like talking in front of people. It's weird. I have a harder time sometimes talking to like a small group of people, like 3, but like 100 people, that's fine. I have no problem with that. It's really weird.
Wow, why is that?
I have no idea.
Is it because you kind of have to, if I don't know. In front of 100 people or more, you probably don't have to engage anyone in particular. But if it's a small crowd, you do have to interact with them directly. But on one-on-one, you're fine as well.
Oh yeah. Well, that's it. No, but it's that weird small group thing where I'm like, maybe I'm not going to talk so much.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, I'm not great with more than one person anyway. So. But this is kind of why I wanted to do these podcasts as well. I've been wanting to do them for so long because I know I've met a lot of really cool people and cool people to talk to, and then it's just I never got the time. You're at a convention, there's always distractions, there's always other people to talk to. You get interrupted all the time. Like it's fine, but it's just it doesn't give you time to have a conversation and relax into that zone as well. And then alcohol and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah, it's sort of great.
Yeah. And are you still partying as much as you used to?
Yeah. Well, not as much. Like in regular life, like I don't party that much at all. Maybe I'll go once a week, but like at conventions, I tend to go kind of hard because I'm just getting into the spirit. Everyone's like having a good time, and there's so many people to talk to, and it just feels like a party the whole time, right?
What's regular life though?
What's regular life? All right, so I have a job on the weekends as a barista, and then I do YouTube as well, and I write music for YouTube channels, and recently I just got into writing music for video games.
Okay, wow, very cool.
Yeah. There's a game that's coming out soon called the Takeover, which I wrote a couple of tunes for that, not the full soundtrack, but there's like 5 or 6 tunes that I did for them. So. Oh,
really cool! I'd love to check it out. Actually, the Takeover. What kind of game is it?
It's a side scroller beat 'em up. So if sort of like Final Fight. So if you like combos and stuff like that, it's perfect for you. But it has the usual 80s like retro style to it. So yeah.
I'm just gonna see if I can just find something on YouTube.
Yeah,
but
right.
Oh, it's a beat 'em up. Yeah.
Right. The Takeover game is probably the easiest way to search it.
Yeah.
If you're searching.
I think I have it. There you go. Actually, my internet is super cool.
That's a super early build, I think, because like now it's like crazy graphics.
I would probably get demonetized just for that alone, but that's okay. This channel is not monetized anyway, so.
Okay.
Oh yeah, cool. Oh, is that the one that Happy Console Gamer was talking about? There's a character there called or after. Is it him? No, who was it? I think it was him.
because like yeah, a lot of people are working on this game. A lot of YouTubers like Matt McMuscles from Super Best Friends and like Anthony from Team Four Star did a voice, and so did Taka, I think, from Team Four Star, and Little V Mills. I don't know if you know him.
Yeah.
He also wrote music for it, so it's like yeah, it's just a massive collaboration.
Very, very Final Fight esque, and
Yeah.
right, yeah, really cool. Well done, congratulations. Jeez.
Yeah, thanks.
So
No, well, that's something I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's just hard to get your foot in the door.
And is it out
So.
yet, or is it coming out soon?
It's in early access right now, but it'll be out soon, as far as I know, because they're just putting like the finishing touches on it and stuff. So
I'll check it out because I love that type of game. I just got myself a motherboard, a PCB for a Final Fight. It's here actually behind me.
Oh, nice.
The arcade machine. So yeah, I'll be playing that for a while. I've always wanted one of those. I don't have a dedicated machine for it, but I'll probably put it in a JAMA cab or something.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I'll check that game out. Yeah, that's really funny because I have music that will be in the video game as well sometime this summer.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be on PS4, Switch, and Xbox and PC at some point. Monster Boy. It's sort of sequel to Wonder Boy 3.
Oh yeah. I heard about that.
Anyway, so I should have a few tunes in there. I think there's seven pieces. They're all covers of the original game. Yeah. So
that's so cool. Also, it's going to be on Switch.
Yeah.
You will have music on a Nintendo system.
There you go. I don't have a Switch, but I have a PS4. I get it for PS4. But I'm tempted to get a Switch just for that, just to play it.
Yeah. Just the bragging rights.
Exactly.
Watch out, Koji Kondo.
But it's not. They're covers. They're not my own composition.
Yeah.
What you have in that game is your own composition, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. What's your setup for composing?
For composing, like at first, I'll just sit there with the guitar, and then as I'm coming up with ideas, I'll have like just a MIDI station open, and I'll just write stuff out, and just I don't know. It's slowly building layers, and then for my DAW, I actually use Sony Acid Studio, which is like the oldest one ever.
That's what I use as well.
Really? Yeah, that's so amazing.
Yeah, there's very few people who still use that.
I know. Like, yeah, there are no updates for it. So when you get new plugins, you're just like, maybe I can't use this plugin. But there's always a workaround. So yeah, I use Sony Acid. Then for drums, I use Superior Drummer 2. And then for synths, I actually bought. Do you know Contact Complete?
Yeah.
I spent way too much money on that. I
remember you posted something. You said, "Oh, yeah, I got this thing."
Yeah.
The big suite. Yeah, I mean, it's really good.
Oh my god! Like 500 gigs worth of just sounds. Like it's totally worth it.
Yeah,
but that is a lot of money.
Is that a DAW in itself, or is it just a plugin or a series of?
I think there is a DAW somewhere in there, but I don't need to use it.
So you use that within Acid?
Yeah. I use basically it's just split into like there's Rector and Contact 5, and Rector is sort of like real samples, and Contact 5 is real samples, and Rector is synths basically.
Wow, and Acid handles it no problem.
That's debatable.
I know exactly what you mean. Yeah, it's
yeah. I had to increase my RAM by 16 gigs just to run some things in there, because a sound pool of a violin or something that's huge, because they sampled each note and each style it's played, and just having that all open at once is 4 gigs of RAM sometimes.
Straight away,
yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same. I think I just have, is it 8 gigs of RAM, or maybe 8. It's not quite enough. I get it slowdowns and crashes with Acid a lot, but it works for me. I'm used to it anyway.
Yeah, who would have thought music would take up like that much memory.
I
Like,
know.
it's weird. It's more than videos sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, usually, like up until HD started appearing, audio was still the biggest chunk of any of the weight of any video. It was always the sound that took up most of the space because the picture was so compressed. It didn't really matter. Like they were quite light, you know. But it's only when HD came in and people wanted raw, uncompressed kind of video.
Yeah.
Now.
And now people have like 8K and stuff like that, and it's just crazy.
But there's one thing that's interesting. There's many things that are interesting about your videos, but it's the fact that you play right-handed guitar, left-handed.
Yeah, I play it upside down.
Wow.
This is a common question. All right. People are like, why would you do that? That's just harder in general. So basically, I'm left-handed, right? And I borrowed my buddy's guitar just to see if I'd like it.
Yeah.
And you know, I was like, hold on, I'm kind of good at this. But like, I didn't realize that I was playing that like wrong. So yeah, I just taught myself, and by the time I got my own guitar, it was too late to go back, right? It was too late to get a left-handed one or like play right-handed, you know. So I'm just stuck with this style. But yeah, I look up to some guitarists that do the same style or did the same style, like you know, like Dick Dale. Or Jimi Hendrix briefly did that before he got a flipped one.
When there's a few, it's not completely, you know, it's not unusual for. There's been some very good guitar players, that played right-handed guitar, left-handed.
Mm-hmm. And like musically, it kind of makes more sense, right? Because like, oh look, here's a guitar. Because like the low notes are on the bottom and the high notes are on the top. You know, just saying.
Nah, I'm not buying it.
You're still not buying. Okay, wait. It's cheaper than buying a left-handed guitar.
There you go. I'm buying that. I have a friend. Actually, the first banjo I had is from my best friend loaned me the banjo. I still have it. He hasn't taken it back after, I don't know, 15 years. But he's left-handed, so and he gets custom instruments. He's quite good now. You know, he's a good musician. So he's at the stage where you know all his instruments are custom made and handcrafted.
That's awesome.
But the price of getting stuff like that left-handed though is just ridiculous. Like, so he pays a premium for anything he wants. And he has a few fine banjos as well. Yeah, they're all left-handed. Now the banjo can be easily adapted. It's just swapping the strings. But yeah, he's a fiddle as well, and you know, you're gonna pay more for left-handed. That's
definitely. And you can restring it. But like I don't know, it still messes with it, and it sounds like
especially
you have a certain type of head, and you know.
Yeah, an electric guitar. I mean, you don't have as good access to those lower notes as well on if you do that. You know, you need that groove. You need that indent.
Okay, yeah. One thing I just want to point out here. Okay, yeah. So the cutaway is always on the wrong side, so I have to like jam my fingers up here when I play high. You know.
Yeah, that's. I suppose it's like everything. You get used to it, but.
Yeah,
it's almost a shame to have a cutaway and not being able to use it. You're going
I know. Part of me just wants to get a saw and just like, you know, make some space.
I should double check, but is your guitar left-handed guitar where you swap the strings again?
No, it's a right-handed guitar that I got drilled on the other side for a strap.
Okay, so that's all it is, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only mod that's on there.
Because that could be a cool option, actually, just have a left-handed guitar. Because now you're not going to change your tuning setup, so it's
exactly.
So it's get it left-handed with that indent, and then just change the strings around or the bridge around there.
Well, actually, that would make a lot of sense because, like, the other pain in the ass of playing that way is that the volume knobs and the switch for the pickups is right where I'm putting my hand.
Of course,
so sometimes I'll knock the tone knob or knock the volume knob or something like that. Yeah, it just becomes a pain in the butt sometimes.
Actually, I didn't think of that. Yeah, that's a good point. Mid-concert, you're just sliding the volume knob all the way down. Like,
Yeah, what I used to do on tour is I used to duct tape my volume knob, just because I was tired of like turning it back up.
Who uses a volume knob anymore? You need a volume
Yeah,
pedal,
exactly.
yeah.
It's always got to be on full, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah, yeah, 11.
Yeah.
That's really cool. So I remember when you were doing that live show in Retroware, yeah, you had somebody loan you a guitar.
Yeah.
Like, how does that work? Because I find if I trying to play with somebody else's instrument is so it just messes with your head for some reason.
Yeah.
But you seem to be able to do it no problem.
It did take some practicing. So
Uh,
so basically what happened was like I was flying there, so coming across the border with a guitar is a pain in the ass. Even though I'm a dual citizen, it's still a
Ah.
lot of security. Also, you have to get like insurance on it, and you have to possibly buy a whole new ticket just to have it on the plane.
Yeah.
Because like if they can't stow it, that's the only other option. Um, but yeah, so basically, I borrowed Lance's guitar. You know Lance from Retroware.
He was on this
So
podcast as well.
oh, awesome, nice. Yeah, he's such a nice guy.
Yeah, I'd Lance
So
and
yeah,
Ronald.
basically, yeah. So I stayed over at his house 2 nights before the con. So I was just practicing each day, but like he doesn't have like the strap where I can put it. Like it's still in the bottom, and I couldn't drill on the top. So basically, I had to take a shoelace and tie it on the neck. So it was all sitting weird and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just practice, you know,
I
as
like
far as
this.
getting used to that.
Shoelaces are the best invention
Yeah.
for guitar players. I have so many of my instruments here I tied together by shoelaces. Still,
Yeah.
yeah. How do you find the environment now on YouTube? Like, is it? I find I'm technically view wise I'm sort of back to 2015. Like it's getting harder and harder to make views on videos, and I don't know
Yeah.
why. It's crazy. Like,
Well, there's a bunch of stuff going on. It's like, clearly watch time is a huge thing,
yeah,
right? Like, watch time is gigantic, and it's hard to get a lot of watch time doing music videos because, music you can't do like 10, 20-minute videos
no,
because, like, no one has the attention span for that. So, 2, 3, 4 minutes, that's your like sweet spot. So basically, to get watch time out of that, you have to have people listen to the cover over and over and over, like over 100% for
yeah,
the retention, right? But yeah, so and like it's just hard for us to compete versus like because also we're technically in the video game side of YouTube, and we're competing with Let's Plays
yeah,
and video essays, and they're 10 to 30 minutes. But yeah, so like the key I see is like YouTube puts content in front of people that keeps them on YouTube. So if you still, it doesn't matter how long the video is, just as long as like their viewing session keeps a lot of people on the site, and it doesn't take them off the site,
yeah.
basically.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily even talking about sort of competing with other types of content, but it's just I've noticed I used to release a cover and I would get overnight. I'd wake up the next morning, I'd have 3,000 views easy.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't it was sort of a given, and I thought, there'll come a day when I'll post something and it'll be 10,000 overnight easily.
Yeah.
Now I'm lucky if the next day there's 1,000 views on any single video as I put out. Now they still sort of make the views over time, but so did the others. So I'm just wondering what's changed in the YouTube landscape, that I'm sort of back to 2015, like a year after I started YouTube. I'm actually sort of worse off view-wise than on new videos anyway than when I started YouTube. Like, it's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
I know. I think everyone's having the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
Like I certainly am. Basically, it's like a lot of people are using the mobile app, which people don't really go to their sub feeds now because they
Yeah.
think it's the homepage. Like the homepage is the first thing you see, and that's not your sub feed. That doesn't have any of your sub stuff. It's basically what YouTube wants you to watch. So that's definitely affecting it because people don't use the subscribe feed as much. So That's where I think it's coming from.
Probably, yeah.
But like, since people are subscribed to you, it should put you on their homepage too. Like, that just makes sense. They're subscribed to you, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the idea of a subscription.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, but I mean, it's not quite what's happening.
Yeah, and now they're doing tests with making the sub feed non-linear,
Yeah,
but there's already the homepage for that. So
Yeah.
it's like, what's the difference between the sub page and the homepage?
yeah, that was just. Are they going ahead with that? Because that was just there was a pro. I remember. when they sort of
It's an
announced it.
experiment, but I see more and more people complaining about it, which makes me think that they're going forward on it.
Yeah, I mean, they do have a tough gig. It's just with more content, more
yeah.
users, more demands. That and but I still think. I mean, I had a conversation with a guy called Subversive Asset. He's a
Yeah.
So
Yeah, smart guy.
Yeah, very nice guy, and yeah, very smart. And he was on the podcast as well, and we were talking about like. Are people subscribed to too many channels? You know, that was part of the discussion we were having, because what we were saying is that if you have 200 plus, and I'm being conservative by saying 200 plus subscriptions, there is no way you can first track everything, and that YouTube is going to inform you of every new video in linear fashion, because one channel could be uploading 4 times a week and the other one time a month. So in your feed, in your view, you're not going to see that 1 time a month. So that channel is going to suffer compared to somebody who uploads every day, because they're going to get refreshed back to the top when you need a new video the next day. So they're going to appear more. And and I wonder, like, should there be a limit to the amount of channels you could subscribe to? You know, that would make sort of sense for at least to benefit those channels. It's a controversial idea, I suppose, in terms
actually
of
YouTube. That's a pretty good idea. I kind of like that.
But some people might want to follow more channels than what is allowed, but it's at the same time you're going, can you possibly be interested in that many things, or maybe are you spreading yourself too thin content wise, because that's just way too many things to track and have an interest in a way, you know. It's, or maybe you should be. Just because it's free doesn't mean you should subscribe to everything. Maybe we should be more selective in our interests and what we follow. And I don't know. It was just an idea we were talking about, you know. And I think there's something to that, though. It's because visibility certainly gets distilled in having 200, 300 subscriptions.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's sort of like having too many friends on Facebook. You know, you have like 5,000 friends, and you're like, A, you don't know that many people in real life, and B, you're not getting like shown that you can't keep up with that much info, right, from people.
Yeah, my parents give out to me all the time, because they say, you haven't seen, or you haven't replied, or you haven't seen. I say, I haven't even seen that feed. Where is it? Like, where?
Yeah.
So you don't look at my Facebook? So no, well, first, no, I don't. But it's not my feed, because it's too many people there. Yeah, it's a good point.
That's such a guilt thing. You don't look at my Facebook.
Yeah, my folks don't know how to use Facebook, so they think I see everything they post on there. Yeah. But so what's the next convention you're going to?
It'll be Con Bravo, which is in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, which is just outside of Toronto. And I'm also the concert director for that convention. Which, I know, it's something I picked up 3 years ago, because like I was a guest at the convention, and they didn't have someone to run the concerts, so it was just kind of a free-for-all. And then they asked me the next year, they're like, hey, you had some feedback on the concerts and how they should have gone. Do you want to run them? And I'm like, sure. And like the first year was sort of a shit show, because I didn't really know what I was doing quite yet. But now I have it running like super smoothly. Nice. But yeah. That's a lot of work.
God, you've turned this into an enterprise altogether.
Yeah.
This YouTube business, between making music for channels and video games and your channel, and this kind of stuff, and the concerts.
Yeah, I have my hand in a lot of cookie pots, as they say, I guess is the term.
But I think that's the key to having any sort of, you know, success anyway, or doing well, or trying to do this full time, because Obviously, I assume you're getting some form of income out of all of this if you can
Yeah,
afford to be a barista just for the weekend.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, you're busy. I knew I had a actually that's one thing I meant to ask you about because you mentioned you did music for other channels.
Yeah,
Are you still doing that or?
yeah. So I'm still doing that. I just recently did a new theme that should be coming out for the Re-Res channel.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, which in let's see, in past I did. Let's see, it's so hard to list off
You
all the
did.
things.
I remember you did a tune for pushing up roses or
Yeah, Push
intro,
Up
wasn't it?
Roses.
Yeah.
I did a sting for her, or it was sort of a mini theme. It wasn't quite a sting. It was
It was
supposed to be
just
like
yeah, it's a little intro. Like it's actually one instance of I wouldn't have recognized your style or your YouTube style because that was very different from what you do normally. It was more punk rock.
yeah, it was more punk rock and rockabilly type of
Yeah,
thing. But
yeah,
like that just matched her style.
yeah,
I was just
exactly. Yeah,
like, oh, that's Pushing Up Roses right
yeah, that
there.
was spot on.
Yeah. Let's see. I also did. There used to be a show on the Game Theory channel called Crossover. I did the theme for that. Let's see what else. On the Completionist channel, I did music for one of his episodes. I don't know. There's too many. I can't think right now.
So you're everywhere. People might have heard your music, even if they're not subscribed to your channel. They probably have heard
Yeah.
your music. Yeah, that's really
Oh,
cool.
definitely.
Yeah,
Oh, definitely.
that's
Yeah.
really cool. You're the David Wise of YouTube channels. How
That's pretty high accolades right there.
how do you go about choosing a specific game to cover? Because I know you've done some stuff that I know you like personally, some stuff that is probably more popular, some stuff that is somewhat trending, like your videos on the Nintendo cardboard thing, that's the Labo.
Oh, the Labo
They were
thing.
really cool, actually. I really enjoyed these.
Yeah, thank you very much. By the way, those pianos are a pain in the ass to put together. You have no idea. It's like
No,
took two people, my fiance and I, like 5 hours to put together a cardboard piano.
they're for children.
I know, they're for children. Like I have no idea what. Like clearly, the parents have to put it together. Like,
Clearly,
I do get the Labo though, because it's sort of like a family thing. You have an afternoon, you get together, you put together something like you would put together Legos, and then you get to play a video game after. I don't know, it's kind of fun, but still, way too much work. But whoever came up with that idea was like genius.
yeah.
Because the fact that you can get so much out of just cardboard. Yeah, but sorry, I got totally off track there. What was the question again? It was how do I
Can't
choose?
fucking remember. Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, how do I choose? Yeah, so I don't know. There's a hit list I have of all like the favorite video game tracks I have rolling around in my head, and those are super easy to do.
Yeah.
Because I already know the songs. I don't have to learn anything. I just pick up the axe and just jam out some like Mario or something. And then I don't know, trending ones. I don't like to do that too much, although it's necessary sometimes because there is modern game music that is hype, but as we said earlier, there's not too much more you can do with it because it's already fully arranged and orchestrated. But I don't know. It's like the ARMS theme. Did you play ARMS at all?
No, I don't have any Nintendo systems anyway, so.
Oh, that's right, you don't. I heard the theme from that, and I'm like, wow, that is one of the best tunes I've heard in like 5 years at least.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it's something like that, something I can really sink into. But yeah, mostly it's something that's like just in my head. Something because like I've had ideas since I was little on how this music sounds in my head. And yeah, it's just getting that out there. Yeah.
That's actually really cool you said that because I feel the same. It's a lot of these tunes I would have had an idea of how to do it, and I feel it's only now I get a chance to get the time, but the skills and the equipment. I mean, 10 years ago, this equipment that I have here would have cost so much to get, and it would have been twice as big, 3-4 times as big, and 10 times more expensive. Nowadays, I have the one mic that does everything. I have just a little audio interface and a free DAW.
Yeah. Yeah.
To do all of that, and it's just it's so like I have as good a setup really as a recording studio next door. It's just it's quite amazing. And
Yeah.
so all these ideas that I would have had in my head when I was a kid, like listening to Vampire Killer and going, oh, I'd love to do it like that, and we don't bring in
Yeah.
this, and now we have the means, the technical means to do it easily.
Yeah.
That's just beautiful, I think.
Yeah.
That's that's what I love about YouTube and other YouTubers. Again, it's just everybody now is sort of a even level playing ground. We all can find the same equipment for relatively cheap, so it's really down to inspirations and abilities and just ideas, more so than anything.
Well, also, like, as far as doing music, you said for cheap, like, just think back in the day to have a record, you'd have to, like, rent out, like, a studio and pay, like, $100 an hour and super practice, and then you have to get it mixed, and then you have to get it mastered just to do anything. And now you can just...
done that.
and now you're just on your computer, and you're like, finished.
Yeah. And
song right there.
In a weekend. And then, you because you're doing it, because you have the time and you can do it in batches of 10, 20 minutes or half an hour, you can actually just edit it as much as you want until you're happy with it. So, and not somebody else's idea of your record. It's just
exactly. You don't have to be over someone's shoulder being like, no, change that, and like, getting in fights with someone because you're crowding them and stuff.
Been there as well, buddy. Have you a CD out at all, or because I remember last time I saw you talking about having a CD, and you gave me a copy of it, but
I have. Basically, there's CDs I've had for conventions, and I'm still waiting on doing physical releases. It's just that I don't have the time to get it, to get the artwork done and this and that.
Yeah, it's really the artwork though that needs to be done in these, but it takes time. It's not as simple as
Yeah, because if people if people buy like a physical thing, it has to be something of substance. I feel but really they just want the music, but then they could download it or whatnot. But I do have a CD that's going to be coming out that I've been working on. No one knows about this yet, so this is an exclusive. Oh my god! Anyways, it's a Mega Man album of I don't know. I can't say what tracks are on it yet.
Fair enough.
It's called Rush.
Nice.
So as in Rush from the Rush jet and stuff. So that was supposed to be out in coming in August, but it's taking too long. So I feel it's going to be more of a September thing. Definitely before Christmas.
Oh, it's interesting you said that, because I've had a project of doing an album, and I wasn't sure exactly whether I should do a Castlevania album, which I have all the material for already, or a Mega Man album, which I just need a few more tracks to do, and I'm working on a few. But it's interesting. So I'm gonna go for the Castlevania one if you're doing Mega Man, because
okay, well that's fair. you can still go on the.
I have all the stuff already, so I just need to. But it's the same again. I just need to get my act together and time and just work on the artwork and all that. You want that to be right, because like you said, if people just wanted to listen to the music, they can download it and put it on their phone or MP3 player or play that in their car. But the fact that they're buying a CD is because they want the physical media. So you want to make sure that media is nice to have and nice to see. You don't want to slap two pieces of screenshot together and put a CD in between.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I've thought of is records, but that can be super expensive to produce. But that would be cool.
It's getting cheaper and cheaper though to have it old vinyls printed as well. There's a few companies that do that here as well in Ireland. You can get your vinyl printed for relatively cheap. I mean, the idea, if you go that route, I think the idea would be maybe have a Kickstarter campaign or whatever, Indiegogo or something like that.
Yeah, because what if you get 1,000 and sell 10 of them, because not that many people have record players.
Yeah, you want an idea,
with vinyl all over,
Yeah, you want an idea of volume. I mean, even for a CD, to be honest, you want an idea of what your volume is going to be.
Yeah.
So for your first one, I think that's probably the road I'll go. I'll probably go an Indiegogo campaign as a means of essentially pre-purchasing the CD.
That's not such a bad idea, actually.
Uh-huh. That's the way I think that's the way you have to see it. Like that's the way most musicians see it when they have a campaign like that. It's not so much a fundraising; it's more a pre-purchase to
Yeah, pre-order,
because everything is done already. You know, you pretty much have you have the music. You just need some artwork. It's not that hard to do the artwork. You just need a few templates, maybe. So it's more a pre-order engaging volume. You have to get printed.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people give me shit for that.
But people will always give you shit, so don't even stress about it. That's
yeah.
that's
I find I've always been sheltered from a lot of that. I've had a few, just a few trolls every now and then, but overall I've been pretty lucky to avoid all that. I don't see much on your channel either. Like it's pretty.
Yeah. Well, music is pretty harmless because, people get trolls and stuff when they're saying stuff, when they're giving their piece of their mind on something, because then there's something to interact with, right? If you have a problem with music, like, man, you're going to have a hard time in life.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, and there's not as much to engage with. I mean, if somebody comes to your channel and they see you've done a Mega Man cover, and you go, oh, I like Mega Man, and they listen to the tune and say, well, I like that tune as well, or I like that game as well. That's sort of as far as it goes. Every now and then you get one person who's an expert, and they want to tell you how you did it wrong. It rarely happens, though. That's
so funny when people do that. I don't get what's going through their head. Like, given they were doing it from the perspective, like, you're not going to read the comment. They're just throwing it out there, just
do you
like,
think that's what it is?
Yeah, I think so. I don't know. And it could be just some 12-year-old too who's like, this is my thoughts. I don't know.
I've had somebody actually commented once on a Shovel Knight cover, and they're hard enough to do as it is. Those Shovel Knight tunes. So please don't tell me I could have done it better. But obviously, he wanted to let me know that in his 30 years of experience, I missed that one note or two notes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it got heated pretty quickly, and I shouldn't have engaged. And I'm sorry I did.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah.
He's not coming back to the channel anytime soon. There was somebody recently, actually, and I got better over the years, where somebody told me there was one note, and he was right. He was actually right. There was the one note on a Lotus Challenge, Turbo Challenge 2 tune that I did, and he said, oh, yeah, that note should have been sharp or flat or whatever. And I was like, no, I don't think so. And then I double-checked. I was like, oh, fuck, he's right. Yeah, thank you. But he was nice. There's a way to do it as well, and he was very nice and polite, and yeah.
Yeah, it's just your demeanor on it, but yeah, the dam from GoldenEye, GoldenEye 64, and yeah, there's one note in the intro where it's just a semitone off, and someone called me on it, but they made a huge Reddit post about it later. I saw, and I was like, oh, I see. When I can't read the comment, you're going off on me, but you're being polite in the comment section. But,
I had a bit of an argument with somebody online one day, and he made a huge video about it recently, and I'm going, but really, what do you get out of this? Like, I don't get it. Yeah, internet is funny like that. Anyway, but at least I have to say, in music channels we're somewhat sheltered from it, because people clearly get, even if you don't get it as well as they would have hoped you do, they clearly see that you like the same stuff they do, and you tried your best, and you gave it what you thought was a fitting tribute. And I find people at least like that part to start with. Even if they don't necessarily completely agree with your arrangement. So there's something about those that world of video game covers that shelters us from all that kind of shit that's happening on other channels and review channels and all that kind of stuff, where we don't deal with the same amount of shit, nearly nowhere near.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what it's like to have one of video essay channels or something saying something like it's like, Mario World is better than Mario 3. Like, just the amount of debates you could have, and because
everyone's like,
Yeah,
Even
go
a
ahead.
channel like Shane's, like Re-Res, I'm sure he deals with a lot of shit, and he's pretty tame and moderate in his.
Yeah, and mostly like mostly he does like bad consoles or bad
Yeah,
games and stuff like that, and he's ripping on that, which are like empirically bad, but like people are like defending them and stuff like that. It's just bizarre sometimes.
yeah, I know. Mind you, if anybody tells me that the MSX is a bad console, I'll probably bite.
Why the MSX of all things do you like that console the most? Do you
Sorry.
think what hooked you on the MSX?
Oh, my father worked for Philips, France.
Really?
Yeah, so we had the video pack, which is the Odyssey 2.
Yeah.
So we had that the prototype, the first board that ever came in the factory. We had that in the house, and we had the carts who were just the breadboard, just the PCB alone. There was no attachment or no plastic. So we had that pretty much day one. Like, so I had all the
Yeah.
games for that. And at the time, what we had was just the joystick was just a wire. So we'd put the wires in between our fingers and just connect the ground to make the stuff move. And I think a week after that we got proper joysticks, but it was just the PCB, the bare PCB, and then
Yeah.
we got a proper console after that, a month or two after, once they went into production, and the MSX was sort of the same stuff. Like, we had the MSX early when Philips started making them in Europe, and then with the MSX2. So I had all the games that could possibly be made on the MSX. So I played Castlevania probably a year before the NES owners, because that was released on the Famicom and the MSX at roughly at the same time. I think the Famicom was first, and the month after was the MSX. But on the NES, the American NES, or the Western NES, it wasn't released until a year after. So I remember seeing, like, playing. I played and finished Vampire Killer, it's called, on the MSX. I'd finished it and played. I remember going to friends of my mother in England, and I was waiting in the ferry port, and it was an arcade machine there that was playing a dual VS thing, and it was Castlevania NES, well, the Nintendo Castlevania, and I was looking at it going, the fuck is this shit? Like, it looks all wrong, and colors are off, and this is scrolling. Like, why? It's a very different game on the MSX. There's no scrolling,
Yeah.
so it's screen to screen. But it there's a lot more exploration, like you would have in Castlevania 2. So it's much closer to Castlevania 2 with the levels of Castlevania that you know in the NES. It's a really cool game. I recommend it to anybody who hasn't played it, because it's very familiar. It's same levels, same monsters, same weapons and all that, but different, and it plays differently, and you have to play it differently. You can play it as a scroller, essentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had the MSX really, really early on, and very few people still in France had it, but I had a few friends or family members that had it, and people whose father worked as well for Philips. But I was still the oddball even back then.
Yeah, dude, that's so cool. How did I not know that about you? That's so amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. I like, even then, like, I did feel somewhat, special, for having a system that very few people had. Like, it was sort of like the PC Engine of the time as well. It was as in, it was rare and very few people had it. Not, it was awesome, and it could play anything you throw it at, because it certainly couldn't. But it's still a little cool. The MSX2 especially it's still a cool little system. Yeah. Anyway, that's how I got an MSX. It was cool memories though. I still have my old MSX here, and all my old boxes and carts, and
Yeah. So wait, that one you have, that's the prototype, or that's the
no, that was the
Okay.
I got. So my parents separated, so I moved with my mother, and so there was an MSX in my dad's, and I think it was a birthday or Christmas. He got me an MSX2 as well that I could bring to my mother's. So yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I had an MSX there as well. So I had a few.
That's
What
amazing.
was your system when you were a kid? I assume it was the NES.
Yeah, well, I started with the NES. I got that when I was like 3 years old. My mom got it for me. Like, she was a big gamer herself. And then I got a Super Nintendo. I asked for like one for Christmas, and I was opening all the presents, and I got to the end of them, and there was no Super Nintendo. I was like, well, as little kids are. But then there was one little like present left. It was like flat, and my mom gave it to me, and I opened it up, and it was the manual for Super Mario World. And she's like, "The Super Nintendo's upstairs. It's already hooked up."
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, that's actually that's a really cool way to do it. Yeah, fair play.
Yeah. That's a good memory.
So I mean, what were you like? Did you run upstairs straight away? I would have cried. Like
I was like freaking out. I was like, just ran upstairs. And I was playing it like all day, the whole day.
Yeah. I remember when I got the MSX, and my mother was like, "Now don't be playing that all day. There's people. I think it was Christmas, but there's people here, and be sociable and don't be playing." Yeah, right. Like I was there until nighttime. I don't think I even ate that day.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I think one game that I played like way too much when I first got it, like just all Christmas Day and throughout the Christmas break, was probably Donkey Kong Country.
Yeah,
like I was so hyped over that game for some reason, but yeah.
That's one game I have to work on the music. Actually, I want to do a few covers. I think last time Donkey Kong Country, especially after having talked to David Wise, I need to do more covers from him. I have projects actually of doing albums as well, licensed albums of guys like David Wise and Barry Leach, and Chris Hulsbeck was another big hero of mine, and we talked and we had that project a few years back of doing a Turrican album of covers of his music and having his name on it, but I haven't done anything about it yet, so I need to get my act together and start working on that.
As soon as we're done today, you and me got together start putting out albums.
Yeah, we did have a project to do collaboration. I remember.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We talked about it. I wanted to get your guitar actually on the Midnight Resistance.
That's right.
I kind of ran out of time as well to do collaboration the way it was at the time, so I ended up doing it on my own. Sorry about that. But who was it? It was yourself.
Totally understand.
It was yourself and Norm. I wanted.
And Norm, the gaming historian.
Yeah, because he plays the drums, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He sent me a message a while back now. That's a couple of years we haven't talked to Norm. I should probably do one of those with him. But and he said, "Oh, I got my drums back. I got a drum kit back. So whenever you want, we'll do something." I was like, "Oh, cool!" And oh man, time goes so fast.
Yeah, well, that's it. Also, it's so hard to collab because like you sort of have to stagger your workflow because you have to work on whatever you're working on that week and then think ahead to what the collab's going to be because you have to give someone time to learn it.
Yeah.
And it's not a priority to them because it's not their channel necessarily, and like people, life happens and people can be late with stuff. And,
exactly.
You just have to anticipate stuff like that.
Collab video is always it's a bonus video you're working on. Like you should have your own schedule. Have a collab somewhere there, or a few, but have them extra, and then whenever they're released and done, then include that in your schedule. But it should really, if you're relying. Although I've been lucky, people have been super prompt with sending me stuff back, but it can happen. I know it can. It hasn't happened to me, but I always factor it in, just in case because. Yeah.
Well, like last year, I think it was last year, or the year before, I did like 6 collabs right in a row. And that was making my hair gray.
Oh, yeah.
It's like so much to juggle because I'm like, all right, I'm getting, like the violin part from that and the keyboard part from that. And I got to figure out when to shoot this one now. And this one's late, so I got to shoot another one. And like, it's just too much.
And it can get stressful. I usually I work on a few covers ahead anyway, but 6 collabs.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that'll give me nightmares. I've enough gray hair as it is. It's, wow. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I do very few collabs though. It's just style-wise, it's really hard to find a tune that would suit different people. So, but the ones I've done, like I've been really happy with the work people have produced. Some amazing musicians around.
Yeah. Well, with collabs, I guess the theory should be, you should collab because it's something you can't do on your own.
Yeah,
like you need the power of 2 people to do it. I think,
or I think, I mean, obviously I can play guitar, but I still think some guitar player like yourself, or like Ro I had the week before, but it's they have a different sound to their guitar. There's some people are more flowing and very little pick sound. Some people have more attack in their picking and that kind of stuff. So you want, there's a reason why you would want that. So I think even if you can play the instrument, maybe getting somebody else who bringing that style, or that personality into your cover. But usually, yeah, I get a lot of people wanting to collab on my covers who are guitar players. Yeah. And I'm going, well, first, it's funny that you contact me to ask me to play on my, thank you, but this is kind of weird. And second, well, no, if it's something I can do myself, but then again, somebody like yourself, I would. That's why I asked you, because your guitar sound is you.
No, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm always down. I'm always down to collab. So
we'll have to work on something. Dude, I think we've been chatting for what, an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, we've been chatting for. Sorry, the audio cut out there. For an hour and a half, I think we've been.
Yeah, we could probably fill another hour and a half, but I don't want to take too much of your time. Plug in your stuff there. You're on Patreon, by the way.
I'm on Patreon, patreon.com/epicgamemusic, and of course I'm on YouTube, YouTube/C/Epic Game Music, or whatever the URLs now. And yeah, Twitter @EpicGameMusic. There seems to be a pattern here of Epic Game Music URLs.
Yeah, send me all your links. We'll put them in the description of the video here. So send me that afterwards. We'll include them in it. If people want to, follow you on. Are you on Instagram as well and all these?
No, I'm not on Instagram because
get on Instagrams. We want workout shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Or shots
and
everything.
Of food, or shots of, it's shots of, like, I don't know, cats or something.
No, the inspiration. It's inspirational kind of workout shots of life and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just have, like, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. That's the most I can handle right now. Is like just replying to everything is just too much sometimes.
Have you a Discord server as well, or?
Yeah. There's the Epic Game Music Discord server.
Very good.
We don't have a URL.
Don't worry about it. Send me all your links when they're ready, and then we'll put them in the video. And Patreon, folks, I'm gonna again annoy everybody, but Patreon, it's the single best, or better way to support any artist on YouTube. I mean that, because the money goes directly to you, and there's no YouTube by third party or anything like that. Dude, thank you very much. That was really cool to catch up.
No problem. This was awesome. I had such a good time. This is perfect.
We'll do it again. Folks, thank you for watching. See you next time. Epic Game Music. There you go. Dude, that was awesome.
I know, that was actually a lot of fun.